This is Charter Local Edition. I'm so glad you're with us. My name is Brad Pomerance, and we are joined today by Richard Sandoval. He is the president of Hispanic Lifestyle. I'd like to take us back to the mid-1990s, let's say. You're an intrepid young man. You're getting involved. Yeah, I think so. You're brave. Yeah. You're getting involved in the political arena. And one day you open the front page of a local newspaper, and what do you see on its cover?
Yeah, I saw it was a young man actually bathing or cleaning himself in a sewer pipe, or one of those sewer drains out in the Coachella Valley. And I thought, wow, that's.
And that young man presented as Hispanic. Is that accurate?
It was a story about Latinos, and to be honest with you, I can't remember all the context of the article, but I just thought the way they were portraying Latinos on the front cover of
a major paper.
Yeah, a major paper. I thought, well, these are not the Latino. Even though he had an important story, I didn't know that he had the story of a lot of other successful Latinos.
So you had an epiphany at that moment.
I did, yeah.
And over the last 20 years, that epiphany has brought us some outstanding coverage of Latinos, Hispanics that are living in California and the nation.
Yes, I mean, we started off with a black and white newsletter talking about Latino-owned businesses in the region. Again, a lot of companies that were going unnoticed by some of our local newspapers. Evolved into a magazine, a print-colored magazine, and we're in the business, so we know what happened to print.
Right.
And of course, we went online, and somewhere in there, we started a television show that's carried on several PBS stations.
Which I'm sure brings you tremendous pride. That being said, although it does feel as if the last 20 years, we have seen a sea change in how Latinos are depicted. In my opinion, we still see a lot of maids on television. We see a lot of drug dealers on television.
Right.
And oftentimes, they're of Latino descent.
Yes, I mean, I don't want to date ourselves because it's interesting. Today the Golden Globe Awards came out, and it was nice to see some Latinas in particular, being nominated for the awards. Last year, Gina Rodriguez received the award, but America Ferrera was on there presenting, and again these.
But are you aware of what happened? They put up. See, and I think
That's why
it's
I brought
instructive, if I may say.
Yeah.
They confused one Latina actress for another.
And it's blowing up the internet.
It is blowing up the internet.
It really is.
Now, let's say for argument's sake, it was an innocent mistake. I hope that's the case. But even if it was an innocent mistake, it does speak to something, in my opinion, that. And what does that speak to?
Again, Latinos. For having such a significant population, I mean, especially here in California, I mean, we're talking roughly, 39% of the state's population is Latino.
Well, we are now, I think as of 2013, the plurality of Californians are of Latino descent.
Right.
Anglos are no longer the plurality of the population.
So with that said, the amount of Latinos that we see on television, again, the characters that they portray, even Latinos behind the camera, we're talking directors. I mean, it's just not proportionate to this.
But even now that we've seen Latinas be portrayed as more than maids, there's still some stereotyping. What do you see? You see only beautiful Latinas that are saucy and spicy.
I think you're talking about Sofia Vergara and Eva Longoria.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we tend, I guess better than a maid, but still, there's some. The Latino community, every community is so much more textured.
Well, I think that's it, is that you really want to see, with this significant amount of the population, kind of in the fabric, part of the storyline, again, they're business owners, they're doctors, they're lawyers.
But when we talk about Latinos that are depicted, sure, we're seeing less gangbangers, but they're cops. They're playing very kind of stern, strong figures, and we're not seeing the kind of layered, textured descriptions that you provide.
Well, I think, when we myself, when I grew up during the 70s, and you know, the Brady Bunch, and being able to see families and portrayed that way. I don't think we see a lot of that on television. I know there's been attempts, but I think, you know, again, kind of playing really towards the stereotypes.
Let me ask you, if I may, the Latino community in terms of language preference is not monolithic by any stretch. No. There are some Latinos who may be in their teens and they prefer to speak Spanish, and there are some Latinos that may be in their 60s and they prefer to speak English. And so, you know, a lot of folks in the mainstream media, in mainstream Hollywood, they're not even sure how to market to Latinos. Is it in Spanish? Is it in English? Is it in Spanglish?
You know, it's kind of funny. I was interviewing an actor who's now a host on a major entertainment channel, and we were talking about the Latinos in a particular television drama. It was on a cable network, and he pointed out the fact that they weren't Mexicans. They weren't Mexicans. They were of Cuban descent, but it was a story about a Mexican family. And so within our own culture, again, Cubans, Dominicans, you know, Mexicans, Venezuelans, you know, there's a lot of other.
Well, is that important? I mean, look, they're actors, and so arguably, you know, it'd be one thing if you had, I don't know, maybe someone of Anglo descent playing an Asian. We've seen those.
Well, look at Scarface. Look at the movie Scarface. Al Pacino. I mean, you had a few Latinos in that movie, but the lead role was Al Pacino, an Italian, Italian descent. I mean, so again, the opportunities, and I think that's what we're talking about here, the opportunities, the images, the opportunity to portray Latinos and be able to convey their culture and what they contributed to society. I mean, really, that's what I tried to do 20 years ago.
So tell me more about Hispanic Lifestyles then.
Well, we have, in addition to the content that we've produced over the 20 years, we also produced events because I thought it was important to be able to bring the community together to share their stories. And I will tell you, my secret sauce basically is that I'm able to invite these people into a room and just let things happen.
And you'll be doing that on April 7th and 8th in the Inland Empire of California.
Yes, which I think is very important. We draw Latinas. It's our 2016 Latina Conference. We've done this for several years, but the last 3 years we've recognized 31 Latinas of influence who actually are from around the country. Some of the people we named earlier have been on the list, but we're talking doctors, lawyers, professional entertainers.
And think about this, in California, our bailiwick here is politics.
Right.
I mean, we're about to have the leader of the California State Assembly and the California State Senate both be Latinos.
Yes.
But, you know, that says a lot.
It says a lot, and I always like to say, you know, the Latino caucus has grown in size that, hey, if you want to get anything done in California, you really have to go through the Latino caucus.
So how can we attend the Latina Conference on April 7th and 8th in Ontario where?
It's going to be at the Ontario Airport Hotel.
Perfect.
And we have a website, HispanicLifestyle.com.
Put on the screen.
There's still enough time to nominate somebody to be a Latina of influence. And it's a very simple process.
Ideas. She's in the hallway.
And that's it. That's how we found out about these people. People nominate their grandmothers, their mothers, somebody, a teacher.
His name is Richard Sandoval. He is the president of Hispanic Lifestyle. You can sign on to their website for great content, more about the conference at HispanicLifestyle.com. I'm Brad Pomerance, and this is Charter Local Edition.